Yes, yes, y'all. You don't stop.
Beautiful.
Hey,
Yes,
check
yes,
one.
y'all, and you don't stop.
That sounds pretty great.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you guys feel pretty good about that?
I think so.
Here we go.
All right. Are we ready to rock and roll
Let's go for
into
it.
the 161st episode of On That
Jesus.
Note?
Holy moly, dude.
That's
Hell
right,
yeah.
with Zac Crook and Tommy Trautwein here.
161. That's what you've been doing in this little
That's what I've
room all
been
the
doing
time.
in this room. Yep.
That's crazy as hell.
In the workshop, the Barber Street workshop.
That's right. We got
The compound.
such a factory going on here between the zoo. We bought a zoo, super cool badass, and Mr. Tony Hunlow cutting everybody's hair.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's pretty awesome, honestly. But
The amount of money made in this place.
is a little bit. It's a little bit. It's enough
Enough
to get
to pay
by.
rent.
That's right. It's enough to pay the rent, which we're grateful for.
Shout out Garner Brown.
GB,
Garner
guard
Brown.
dog.
I was talking to Bogbod the other day, and they were like, "We might change our name to Garner Brown, see what happens."
What?
I was like,
That
"That would
would
be
be awesome.
fucking awesome. You should absolutely do
That'd
that."
be so sick.
I think it was like their other band actually, but nonetheless, Garner
That's
Brown would be a
hilarious.
pretty awesome name.
That would be awesome. He was my first landlord in town like 8 years ago.
And then you got him later.
Yep.
Oh, whoa! Look at
Reconnected with an old flame.
that. The full circle moment.
And was it him that raised the rent $500, or was that
I
someone
think
else?
do we
someone
need to talk
bought
to
our
him?
house halfway through the
Yeah.
first year, and our rent went up like $1,000. I think it was like 500.
Damn.
Negative shout out to that guy.
Yeah, we don't
Negative
like
shout
that.
out to Todd.
Boo! Tomato, tomato, tomato. But Zach, Tommy, thank you guys for coming on. I'm very excited to talk to you about what always will be album of the year for 2023, MVP 2003 by Zac Crook. Thank you guys for blessing us with this. I don't want the whole episode to be me just like blowing smoke up your ass, but I will allow myself some of those if you allow me to have some of those moments.
We'll take it, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Obviously, all the singles are amazing. Anniversary, Move On, Shark Attack, Christ Air, and then you're putting out one more. Oh,
Yeah.
Better Taste.
Better
and then,
Taste is out.
And then one more, which, as the listeners are hearing this, came out yesterday, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit.
Right.
Dude, I think I upload. I tried a new distribution company this time,
Okay.
and
Wait, what?
Which one?
Did you put out a song?
not yet.
Oh, you said yesterday.
I know.
Well,
but
as we
once
record,
this comes out,
which will be on a Wednesday
I
next
know y'all
Wednesday.
were talking
Rookie.
like
Yeah,
future tense.
we're
dude.
doing,
Goddamn
the Memento flashback,
Good
flash
night,
forward
man.
situation.
Sorry,
no,
boys.
this will be next week.
heard.
Or whenever in time.
Right. When people hear
Ah.
this, it will be
I
out.
was just like,
the
Yeah.
new
wow.
song, which
No,
is
yeah.
which is what?
Dude, so no, I got a new distributor and I uploaded the album quite literally 4 months ago, and it took like 2 months for it to show up at all anywhere on the internet. And I uploaded the single after I uploaded the album, and it's been up for probably 2 months now. And it says that it's good to go, except it's not showing up anywhere but on the distributor's website.
Right.
So I think it's coming out.
So hopefully,
I think it'll be out by now. But
Hopefully it's
I
out.
do love that song. The song's called Loose Grip. It's the closer on the album.
Hell yeah.
And that one's like in the ring of like my favorite songs from the album. And so,
Why does that one stick out for you?
dude, I think that one, similar to like, so we made an album 3 years ago called June, and we recorded a song called Not There For You that it had been around for a while. We actually had a version of it already out, but that was the last one that we recorded for that record, and that one kind of felt like a victory lap in a sense, and that one was also the last track on that record. But it felt like me and Tom had like finally kind of hit on all cylinders where we like knew what we were doing, and it was like, all right, let's just crank this thing out and it's gonna be sick.
Mm-hmm.
And Loose Grip is a similar thing where it's like we've been working on this record for damn near 2.5 years,
Yeah.
and by the end of it, it's like, okay, cool. We've ironed out the tricks for this era of our recording together, and it felt like it was kind of like not pointing at the scoreboard necessarily, but it was like we know what we want to do, and it's like this is it.
And you're talking about Loose Grip.
Yeah,
That felt like the
yeah.
It had all like we were able to use all of the motifs and looking at a record that was done, and we're like, we're going to throw this one more on that we weren't sure about how we were going to do really. We had a couple references and vibe ideas, but it was like a day of just like trying. But honestly, we tried a bunch of different weird things that we had not done anything close to doing.
Yeah.
Like we did it all, like that song was Zach and Hampton were in the living room. Zach was playing guitar through his vinyl blown speaker receiver.
Yeah.
So it had this crazy cool like dark saturation thing, and then we mic'd that up but left the door open and a bunch of room mics, and then Hampton was playing the SK5 drum machine and also like
rock drums too,
playing like a sample.
Nice.
Yeah, rock drums too, 7 clicks down to make it slow.
Yeah.
And
Anybody
then-
out there listening with their SK next to them?
Exactly. 7 clicks down, I think. And then he was like playing like a voice sample that we had made. And so that was all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And just getting all the crazy bleed from the guitar next door. And
The Ranger's also all in that guitar.
yeah.
The Ranger?
Ranger pedal.
The Ranger pedal was like big on that one.
Yeah.
What kind of pedal is that?
It's a Ranger FX Ranger, whatever. What is it called? It's the Reverb X.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Is
it's
it
like
the
a
gated reverb?
It's the gated reverb distortion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds pretty wild. I've heard you playing with that.
And so all the growly like
Right.
and the guitar on that song is that.
So it was Loose Grip. I'm curious about the order of the songs in which you, like the order in which you wrote them, and then also the order of the sequencing, like how you came up with that. So maybe let's start with the order of the songs. Like what came first, what felt like, I know you said Loose Grip kind of felt like a pointing at the scoreboard moment, like this is what we want. Did any other songs kind of have that leading moment, or was that the one? Was that the first one you wrote?
No, I think we're all. So the record was made by me, him, and a guy named Hampton Peay.
Yeah,
who's
shout out to Hampton.
Yeah, one of our best friends, closest homies. I think we all kind of have the consensus on the song "Better Taste" that's been out for almost a year. That was like the one where we're like,
Has
oh,
it really been
shit.
a year?
October.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but like we did that one in a day, and we were like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
The rough bounce off of the board was like, we like did it at like midnight, and then I remember Hampton and I listened in the morning, and we were like shouting like little girls, like, dude, oh my god, this is good, and
It's the best feeling.
and we didn't really touch the rough. We were like, the rough is done. Like
Dude.
we're like, we can't mix this better, and we ended up making like 3 tiny little tweaks.
Yeah,
And that
it
was
like didn't even feel like mixing with that one. It was just like,
I would
Like
say
just tiny little
yeah.
adjustments.
Exactly. I don't know. I would say that one was definitely like, I think we leveled up in like, it took all of the songs. It was Better Taste, and then we did MVP, and then we did Loose Grip, right? In terms of how we recorded the songs. I know we finished a bunch in the meantime, but
yeah,
I feel like it took everything. We started the singles, basically. Anniversary.
dude, Move On started
Yeah. it's hard
6
with
months,
This is crazy.
8 months before Anniversary started.
Whoa.
Wow.
Dude, Move On, we started January of 2021,
Wow.
and we did 2 13-hour days.
For that one
Oh,
song?
God. Did we?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
For
And then-
Anniversary, right?
No, for
Oh,
Move
for
On.
Move On. Sorry. So that was the first one you recorded?
Yeah, and that was the first one I wrote. Move On, I wrote back in like, dude, it may have been 2018.
Wow.
So that song's been around for a long time. It almost went on June. We never recorded anything for it, but the intention was that one that was going to be on June, and then I passed it.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was also like very intentional. I mean, honestly, I don't really like that song all that much, truthfully. But
No.
the recording,
listen to Zach.
the
Yeah.
recording of it is
It's a
awesome.
banger.
Like that's the thing is like the recording of it. I'm like, it's all like redeemed.
that.
The song, I'm like, whatever. Like
Mhm.
that's a very like different time.
Yeah, it is. I was just going to ask about how it feels to have something coming out that's literally been in your head playing for 5 years. It is a weird
Wow.
half and half
crazy.
feeling, you know,
Yeah,
when you know something so well, and then when other people, it is already out, but like if it came out this week or next week, it would be the first time anyone's ever heard it, and their perspective on it is so different than yours.
Yeah. It feels like 21-year-old Zach.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. What song was the last one that made the cut?
The last song to be written?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, what was the last song?
MVP, I think.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Or Loose Grip.
MVP, no, Loose Grip is down the list a little bit. Yeah, MVP. We kind of, honestly, dude, that one was kind of written in the studio a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, dude, that one was crazy.
I feel like we'll all three find out that every single one of these songs were the same way as Better Taste and Loose Grip, where it's like it took every song to be, it's like a full day, and then being like, holy crap, what did we just do? This is what's informing everything else.
Yeah.
And then we would start the next one and take a left turn and be like, oh my God, we just we kept one-upping ourselves, we felt.
Dude, that's kind of the thing. I feel like we did most of these song by song. We did a few of them in batches, but like there wasn't a ton of bleed. But us coming into the room was very, very intentional as far as like the only people that really touched anything. I co-wrote a little bit of Better Taste with Jacob Mallow, but other than that, it was only me, Tom, and Hamp. And we had general ideas going into it, so that was very intentional. But a lot of what came out of it was like incidental and like accidental, in really good ways. And I don't think that any of it would have happened if we weren't like aware going into it. But the intention of things, it wasn't always what we ended up.
Yeah, we weren't really trying to go for anything either, which was like, it would be a lot of the sessions were like 2 to 3 hours of like, you know, song structure, what's the vibe, what's the arrangement going to be, / what are the chords going to end up being. And Hampton and I had talked about it. I remember I was talking to Hampton, I was like, before we got to the session where we did Single for the Summer, Shark Attack, and Fingers Crossed, I think.
What a
which
trio.
was a huge,
God,
that was a huge
Those are like
day.
my 3 favorites.
That was a huge day in my production recording life, and I think for Hampton too, and I think probably for you too, and this album, absolutely. But it was like, I remember I had the thought, I was like, I want to not, because remember, you had a lot of demos, and Zach plays a very unique style of guitar. We call it Drop Z, all his tuning.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
It's so recognizable, and it's so him, and it's amazing. And we had done a lot of that. And so we're like, all right, how can we get, like, I think I might have thought of this for anniversary too, or just ended up that way, but like, how can we get Zach to like play as little guitar as possible, especially when we're thinking about these songs. And we're like, all right, this song needs to feel good with Zach's vocal, bass, and drums, and maybe keys. And that's kind of how we started these 3 Single for Summer, Fingers Crossed. And Shark, we came back, we're like, all right, this is a guitar riff. So that it was nice to come back to that. But like, I feel like doing that is something that we didn't really expect to do. I know Zach probably didn't, because we kind of like took the guitar away from him. And we're like, all right, Hampton, go and play chords. And we're like, you know, and it just like, and we still, I mean, we had practice the other day for this release show, and we were like, shit, we don't know the chords.
Right.
Dude,
like,
that was actually crazy.
You know, and there's like fingers crossed, we still don't know how it's played.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, Fingers Crossed, we played on a baritone, I think.
Dude, and that one went through a bunch of different haircuts. I was fighting for us to drop the key of it because I didn't think I could sing it. And so we had like speed it down to like a key and a half or something like that.
What's Varaspeed?
It's like taking the entire song and like, instead of like pitch shifting it down, it's like tape. It's like slowing a tape machine down where it's like consistent pitch throughout.
Right.
The new Hefner song Truck did that, but up. So it kind of sounds a little bit like,
interesting.
You know, it's like that kind of thing.
It was a little tidbit for you guys.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And sometimes you can do it. You can do it to where it's like just like a knob, and it's like it could be in between keys, but there's a way to do it like where you can drop keys.
I got you.
But
that did not make the cut.
Yeah,
I got really hard pushback on that.
Yeah. We just gotta push Z Daddy to sing.
That was for which one?
He always does.
That was for Fingers Crossed.
Fingers Crossed.
Well, all that being said, we kind of went in different mindset than we usually do, where it's like, hey, Zach, play the thing you do, and then we'll build around it. It was like all three of us together being like, all right, no guitar, bass, drums, vocal, like looking at each other. And or, it was Hampton on keys, and I would program a drum beat, and we would just like play the song over and over again, and it just came out, the structure came out, and the vocals kind of came out. So that was, I feel like that informed the whole album in terms of how we were going to, it did, but then it taught us, it informed us how to break our own rules, I would say. And we just didn't do the same thing twice. And that in itself is a motif to me, because like they all kind of ended up with we had the same pieces of gear and things we were really stoked on.
Same
and the
studio, same piece of gear, same minds.
Exactly. So it was kind of like all of that went completely different avenues, and not really genres, but like vibes, and came back to like, oh, this feels like a thing, which is crazy after 5 years.
Yeah. And I mean, it all feels very cohesive to me after listening to the album a few times since you sent me the link. None of it feels disjointed to me. I mean, yeah, there are some different vibes. Like Shark Attack is the rocker that will be on my Spotify Wrapped, like,
baby,
top
Hell
5
yeah,
listens, hands down. And then after getting the album and getting to listen to it a lot, Fingers Crossed has become probably I don't know if it's my favorite, because Shark Attack just has that for me, that rocker, but Fingers Crossed, there's that moment when you're something like that, and then the drums come in, and I like jump out of my skin. It's
scoreboard,
so
baby.
good.
Yeah.
Scoreboard, Z.
Dude.
Kidding.
That moment is sick.
I fucking know. I put Fingers Crossed on the back burner. I wanted to fucking cut it from the album at one point.
Wow.
And like hated that song. And
Thematically too, which makes sense.
thematically, yeah, I wrote that about a person that I had been in a relationship with, and like decided to finally feel some sort of angst. Like I wasn't the wrong one in the relationship. Wrote it. It sat for long enough that I was like, fuck this song. This is stupid. Like I don't feel this way. And then it turned on its head. When we finished recording, I was like, God damn it. I think this song is about me and not this other person that I wrote this song about.
Whoa.
Which was its own thing. But I hated it because I couldn't sing it.
Right.
But then a common theme in the record is a couple drunk vocal takes.
Yes.
There you go.
A couple Fernet and Cokes at like 1 p.m.
Dude, a couple
worked.
like nooners. Yeah. That shit worked.
A couple of tall boys, a couple of afternoon tall boys. We'll get you there.
It always got there. Vocal-wise. Vocal is my favorite.
Dude, honestly, Fingers Crossed ended up being one of my favorite vocals on the record.
Yeah, dude.
There is such like, you have such an angsty delivery to it. Like I didn't think angst until you said that, but it is like there's a punch to it, which I feel like is why when that drum hits, it is so like, it's like, to me, it feels like the pent up energy and rage just coming in for one punch.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And the bells that happen at the end, like what's going on there?
Oh, dude.
I bet
thing.
Scooby-Doo. Well, there's a couple crazy.
That's Hampton.
There's a couple crazy things.
I know. I feel bad we don't have Hampton here to answer some of these questions.
Yeah, there's like that over top, like a super high strung acoustic solo thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tom was playing like the Nashville tuning, like
there's
tiny
a lot of
Yamaha.
like high, lovely things in there. I think that might have been
because
the
most of the
GX3P.
song is so kind of in the mid bass range, and then those kind of elevated at the end.
Dude, that one was. I know we are just absolutely roundabout chatting about the record, which I will do for hours. If you need to get us back on track, please do. But for Fingers Crossed, that was one. Like you were saying, the vocal was the reason it was like the bounce from the first day was bass. Was it bass? I think it's still the bass today. It was like a half finished bass take from when we were doing the thing, drum machine, Hampton on keys, Zach on. I think Zach was playing the guitar. We had figured out what to play.
Yeah, it was baritone.
And we wanted to sound like not a guitar. So it sounded like, it sounds like a bowling alley pop synth or something, you know.
The boom.
And
Yeah.
It reminded me, I wrote this down, it reminded me of the XX almost.
Whoa.
The way like that first album, it was so minimal, and all those guitars are just like perfectly clean and huge. Yeah.
And so it was that, and then Zach was sick that day or those days.
Yeah.
And we did a take, but it had all of the juice. Like it had the feeling, you know. And it was just that the entire song, and like a couple synth pads that come in, and it was like so bare, and it was like we had some awesome sounding drums. Hampton destroyed the drum take, and it was a thing where that's why Hampton and I were like, "You're not allowed to not like the song because we are so excited about it."
Dude.
And I was more so about the lyric, the vocal delivery, even though it was like scratch. It was like we debated on maybe keeping it because it was like because we tried to sing it again and we couldn't really find the. I think we were either trying too hard or trying not as hard, and then it just took like a couple takes, and we just got it. And then we kind of took once we got the vocal, we just like got the outro. And at that point we had worked on all of the songs, and this was like when we were finishing all of them. Like we did like a week or so when we went back and touched every one, and that one probably also saved that song in a way. Because we had worked on all these other songs, we're like, all right, this outro needs a bit of MVP 2003 album touch. Because right now it's like a super bare thing. It's really cool. It's a good piece.
Dude, the vocal take that is on the recording, that is on the album, that's like from like the last 2 hours of recording this whole record.
Really?
It's like the living room. It's like the only true room vocal.
The one that Garrett was taking photos of?
No, he did that on like a Tuesday. We finished this record on Friday.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And Tom was like, get out in the room. And I had like 3 Coors Lights at like 2 p.m.
Yeah, that was that.
And was just like basically like screaming into this like room
Dude.
mic, which we had done all of the vocal takes that me and Tom have really done when working together have been through the 441, which is this very like directional dynamic mic.
Yeah.
And we decided to do like room vocals, give it some space, give it some air. And I was like gonna try and like basically like yell at this microphone and like be pissed. And it ended up working finally.
Was that the first time you kind of approached vocals that way?
In a way, I think that I've like undertaken a couple bad habits with vocals the last like 2 years, and now I'm figuring out a way to like utilize, like kind of trim the fat a little bit. And I think that was kind of the turning point of that, where it's like, oh, I have these bad vocal habits, but it's really cool if I do it like this.
Oh, okay.
And so that sort of like lazy, like angsty vocal, and honestly, the vocals on that track like sound like quote unquote bad, as far as like. Sorry, Tom. Dude, when I hear it, it's like, it's just like not tight, you know? Like it doesn't fit. That's the thing, is like, it doesn't really fit with a lot of the other takes on the record. So much of the stuff.
You're just talking specifically about
Fingers Crossed.
Fingers Crossed.
Yes. Okay. But that might be why it's my favorite. Like that's why I also love Loose Grip, because it just sounds like sloppy, but it sounds like earnest, and it's also like what we were going for, and it conveys like the whole message of the song and what I'm trying to say and what I was feeling, you know?
Yeah.
And so
I never really even thought about that until you said that, how Fingers Crossed, that vocal delivery does feel very different compared to like a Move On.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's almost like you've been dropped in the middle of this conversation you're having with this other person, and you're really just letting them have it with music behind it, you know? It feels so like
It's
so
a little bit
personal.
like, it feels like a letter.
Yeah.
But it's like a one you throw away, you know?
Right. Yeah, one
that's
you
what that
burn
whole song's
immediately after.
about, bro.
Yeah.
What were some of the songs that felt maybe the most, you know, I have to go into detail, but like just difficult in terms of getting yourself to a certain place, like mentally or, mentally, emotionally, and then maybe on the opposite end, what were some of the songs that gave you a hard time, like just purely technically?
Let's see. I'm trying to think of like what we spent a lot of time on as far as like mix. Like, I don't really know. On the back end, there wasn't like a ton of mixes on any of these songs, I feel like.
It was all kind of...
Really? It was all pretty much like...
kind of hilariously, like... We would kind of like do it and be so stoked, and then it would take a long time for us to get back in the studio. And we'd like either forget about it or like kind of just like be like, that's cool. There it is.
Yeah.
But like Move On was a thing that was like, it was tracked for probably 2 years.
Yeah. That one, so we tracked it January of 2021, and we didn't touch it. Dude, I don't know if we ever tracked really anything for it ever again after those 2 days.
No, we didn't.
And then it came out either July or August of 2022. So it had been tracked a year and a half before.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I listened to mix 2 that we were like, this is done.
Yeah.
From 2021 after working on all these songs, and I was like mortified. And I was literally like, because you texted, boys, are we all good on Move On Mix 2 from years ago? And I think Hampton was like, I don't know if Hampton answered. I think he was like, oh yeah, it sounds great. And I was like, give me 30 minutes. And I was like, that was the first time I've ever really done that. I was like, I'm gonna try it in 30 minutes. If I can't do this better.
Mm-hmm. And it was the drums, right?
It mostly was. It was kind of everything. I just gave it the like instinctual sauce of what I've been doing for this album, and put a bunch of things through my new at that time the new H3000 unit. That's the 80s hardware.
Yeah, that's right.
Or outboard gear that's like just does the thing, and so that kind of really opened that song up, drums especially.
Yeah.
And gave it a whole new picture, and that like it's one of my favorite mixes, and it took.
Dude, sounds
I
great.
basically started over, and so yeah, it's a lot of things like that where it's like Better Taste, where it's like the rough was like we can't beat this. I don't want to touch it,
right?
Because we tweaked it, and Shark Attack was the biggest bear of
I could see that
noise.
Yeah.
But it was kind of in a way.
Was it tough getting those like guitar tones to not be too much? Because it's right on the edge of like, it's certainly the rocker on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing comes close.
But it was
how
weird
hard
because that was the greatest vocal take I think Zach has ever done. Well, I mean, I don't know. He's better tasting. He's beaten it every time. But that was the first one where I was like,
dude,
Zach is
get your
awake.
mouth out my name. Every time I hear that, I'm like, fuck you. It's so sick.
Bitch.
Yeah. That was like, I think we had been on, I don't know, because remember, it's so funny.
Dude,
this is
deep
crazy.
into mixes
First,
with that.
this is one. It's really fun. I wish Hampton was here too.
I know, dude. I'm
And
so
3,
bummed.
this
Maybe
is like this.
had him zoom in.
We could have like a documentary on this all these crazy stories.
Yeah.
But we because remember how stoked we were for Anniversary too. Like that was one that you were like, I have a verse.
Yeah, I had written damn near the whole song like 2 days before going into the studio with Tom, and then I played it and it was like, this like doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like a couple verses.
Yeah, and we kind of just like what ended up being like the outro, like chorus, bridge, whatever the fuck it is. Tom like took that from the middle of the song, threw it at the end, and then he was like the "You Made It So Damn Hard," which is a funny lyric. Tom was like, this song needs a hook. What if it was this? And I was like, okay, cool. And then we like, dude, that song was
and then
also...
you save it for the end, which is kind of interesting because it doesn't really come up earlier at all, right?
No.
The whole song,
So much for Anniversary,
feels like a steady progression upwards.
Yeah. Dude, that's the funny thing about Crook songs. I can't write a damn chorus to save my life, typically.
Except Move On.
Move On.
Yeah, but that was because I was 21.
There you go.
And I was thinking about music a lot differently.
Right.
But yeah, I think, what I was saying, sorry to like make sure I can answer the question.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anniversary, Zach, with June, last record, soft vocals, very layered, very cool, super close mic, very cool stuff there. Some of my favorite vocal things on that album. That was the era we were leaving. And for some reason, Anniversary, you were kind of out of the woods.
Dude, it was because of Billie Eilish.
It's kind of because of Billie Eilish. Wow. And like kind of, I feel like I guess in June I got the vibe, but I'm always trying to get Zach to sing like the freaking like character that you want. I don't know. I feel like
in the song, like
the character in the song, and that song Anniversary was like, it's like, man, you got to have like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he did it, and it was like, whoa. And then Shark Attack was like,
Jesus.
I put it through like my like little $80 Shure Devil Lock Level Lock thing mixer, and it was like absolutely cranked. It was a scratch vocal, and it was like irresponsibly saturated and compressed, as I like to do. And it was like the biggest 3Dist vocal ever. And like I think it was kind of things like, go back to Shark Attack. Shark Attack was a crazy mix because of all the noise, but it was like, for some reason, the vocal was even bigger, and so it wasn't that hard to like. Yeah. I feel like a lot of things were like, it was like working with like a bunch of weird, broken scratch ideas that we had just like what's that when you just kind of like, can't remember, there's a word for it, but like we're just like all day on the page for hours on end, just spewing ideas and just grabbing
like stream
it,
of
recording it, stream of consciousness. Like, what about this? What about this? And we have all these things.
We didn't say no to much, which was kind of, I think, the ticket at the end of the day.
Yeah. There was like no guitar amps on the album because we just grabbed the guitar, plugged
Zach
it in.
Loves the DI.
Yes, he did.
Dude, it's considerate.
It's considerate of the roommates.
We live in a goddamn house.
Our neighbors were very thankful every time you were recording.
I don't know.
I'm the man of the people,
we've got
dude.
amp on Move On and a blown up speaker on Loose Grip, so you're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit.
No, dude, that's my vinyl receiver.
Oh, that's right, the vinyl
speaker.
receiver.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a pretty quiet guitar.
But yeah, I think technically that all of these, nothing really.
There was nothing that gave us too much trouble.
It always had the like unlocking factor each song, which I feel like happens a lot, but the way we have been creating was just like, man, we're just like finding what the song's identity is, and then it's like in the palm of our hands before we even know it, and we recognize it after like, oh my god, that was the best vocal take ever, or oh my, whoa, this broken guitar tone just opened it up, or like
yeah.
You know.
So I have a specific question just about the songwriting process, because you just said how June, your last album, kind of felt like, or you were thinking more about choruses and things like that, and maybe not so much with the new album. And then a song like Better Taste comes out, and it's like nothing repeats almost. It's like 4 different sections glued together that somehow all work. So how did you get to write songs like that? Is it conscious effort to make sure that it's changing, or I guess, you know, where did things like that start for you, and how do you challenge yourself to like write something that is interesting to you?
Yeah. I think my musical taste is like, part of it is I've been like rediscovering a lot of stuff like lately. I grew up listening to R&B music that like you couldn't even hear the words to, because it was just like groove, and it was like the vocal melody was more of like an instrument than like the lyrics telling anything. But I also grew up on country music, like country radio.
Which is all lyrics, yeah.
Which is all lyrics. And so like for better or worse, it's all lyrics. And so between the two, it's like I kind of left that, and I was like, well, I am this demographic. Like I grew up in like suburban Florida, like beach. I am like a white dude. I need to make this kind of music because that fits like what demographic of person I am. And that was what I thought when I graduated high school and like moved to town and was like, I'm supposed to make music. And so I was like, these guys write these very engineered songs, like guy A, guy B, that like is similar to me. And then somewhere along the way, I just like kind of went back to what I had grown up listening to, and like why I like wanted to start singing and shit. And I was like, all of this stuff is very different. And then a couple of the bands that like I liked, but I didn't really like, I was like, man, I really like this music, but I don't know why. And then it was just like, there's so much freedom in a lot of things that I listen to, where it's like, there's no rules. Like music, however, also seeing successful musicians be like independent artists, or like do the thing where it's like these like weird like house tracks and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, there's no formula to this. It's like whatever the most successful thing you can do, not even success like on paper.
Maybe internally successful.
Yeah, like success as like a success being like a thing of like true to what you're trying to do and like true to art, is like being compelling and getting your point across. And that's what I think a good country song is, and I think that's what a good R&B song is like it makes you feel something. And I kind of like not leaned into that at all for a while. And June, there definitely is some of that, but like some of June is literally like there's a song called Kids on that record that is literally about, like I wrote the song because I was like, I need to practice writing. And now I never really do that anymore.
Yeah.
But that's it, like Better Taste had like there was no rails to stay on, because I like knew that I wanted to write that was like the one I started out. It started out very like acoustic guitar R&B tune where I was like kind of like slapping and shit, and then Hampton was like, none of that. Tom was like, quit. They for a while I was like, they fucking hate my ass.
Every time Zach walk in with a guitar, we're like, okay, cool, we're gonna put that over there.
They're like, Hampton, get on plug
like,
my
quick,
pedal board into
Zach,
the
look over there.
keyboard.
Yeah, gosh.
I said, okay, cool.
He was like, why are all my guitars locked in the closet?
Yeah.
Dude, it was so, and I have the fucking coolest guitar.
Yeah.
I think that's why they're just fucking pissed.
They're just jealous, dude.
Hey, that guitar had its
jealous.
moment.
Guitar had its moment in the
On that
palms
song?
of Tom.
Yeah, baby.
That song's all.
It wasn't even
Yeah.
you who played it?
No, dude, that
Damn.
guitar's all
Hey,
over the record.
There's a lot of awesome guitar and better taste.
Um,
It just took. We had to rearrange.
Yeah. That guitar-
That tone is insane. on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was
song.
I using? I think I also I have an old Gibson guitar that's been with me the longest out of all my guitars, and I think we got to use that one as like the acoustic guitar that is the beginning of. But like that, like plucking riff was like not a thing before we got into the studio
On which song?
on Better Taste.
Oh, okay.
I was like kind of like being a little bit more like rhythmic, like plucky.
Yeah.
But I was actually talking to Tony the other night. Better Taste was like it's like a feeling that I've had like in every single relationship that I've been in with like, honestly with like, not just like romantic relationships with the people, but like relationships with like my life of like what my life looks like. I've like had the moment where I'm like, damn, I look back at like old things, and whether it's like a person or like looking at it like a time period where it's like, oh man, like I miss that shit, and like I wish that like that could like still be what my life is today.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end of the day, it's like you have to kind of trust like the reason that you are with who you are or like where you are is because like that's what you actually want, and like those are the choices that you actually made. That's what Better Taste is all about, and lamenting that kind of shit. And I also knew that I wanted to rap, like have like a rap verse on it.
Yeah, dude. When I first heard that, I was like, no way. Zach's spitting bars right
Dude,
now.
it's so silly.
What a moment.
Yeah,
It's silly because it's not a rap, but it's damn near.
It fits the song so perfectly. Was there a moment where you're like, I can't do this? Like,
No,
there's
dude,
way.
hell no.
You knew the whole time.
The whole time when I went in, so I had that song almost to like as far as like the content wise, I had it almost to the finish line, and I called up Mallow because Mallow's one of my only homies in town that I know
Shout out Mallow.
that could have done that with me, or would have been at least willing to like sit with me while I tried to like fuck around with it.
Right.
And dude, because we left
That's fair.
that co-write, and Mallow was like, it didn't feel like a co. It was like, hey, dude, I have this. I need you to help me get it there.
Yeah.
And we were just both going through like old notes on our phone from like 3-4 years ago.
Whoa.
And so Better
just
Taste is
looking
like,
for ideas to like pop in there.
We're like, oh shit, does this work? And it's like, okay, cool, that's great. Let's copy paste that right here. And so it's like, I took a couple of like lines out of a really really old voice, or not even voice memo, just like the notes on my phone, and then I think I used like a line and a half of what Jacob had on one.
Whoa.
That like we were just like kind of going back and forth. I had my guitar and he was on the piano, and I told him, I was like, all right, so I have this point. I was like, I need to get it. I was like, there's gonna be like a rap verse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he was like,
And you're like,
what?
I need you to not
And I was
react
like, and I'm
right
gonna
now.
do it. Literally, I was like, I need you to trust me. I was like, there's gonna be a rap verse, and I'm gonna do it. And I need the words.
So you wrote the words with him there. Like
Yeah,
you knew you wanted the cadence of like a rap verse.
yeah. I had like I remember da 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 da, and it was just like I had the first part of it, and it was like, how are we gonna make this actually like land?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when we were like kind of bouncing off and stuff, and like at one point I was like, maybe it will be like a duo thing where like I like sing or like rap this part,
Right.
and then Mallow is also gonna like take his verse on it, and then we didn't really have enough content, and Mallow left, and he was like, dude, I'm sorry. Like he was like, we were walking out the door, and he was like, dude, I'm really sorry. Like I feel like that was kind of a bust. And I was like, no, dude, I feel great. Like, we didn't really have anything, but I was like, dude, I feel great about this. I was like, I'm going to take this into my room and like work on it and I worked on it for like the next 2 days.
You just needed a spark, something to get it going.
Exactly. And so like, he just kind of gave me enough that I was like, okay, cool. Here's like, it like helped me zoom out a little bit to like see the pieces.
Yeah. Something about having somebody else obviously help you, work on it that will really get you going. But even just showing somebody like a mix of a song and they've never heard it and you're like, let me get your feelings on this, and they don't have to say one word and you already know what you have to
crazy psychology
change.
behind that. It's like the commitment it takes to send or to show. You have to like internally back up what you're about to present as your art or your something, whether it's bad or not. And of course everyone's like, oh, it's not finished yet, like whatever. Everyone does that, but it's like that is a essential part of songwriting that I feel like all of our homies do, at least, where it's like we have an idea that we're remotely excited about. It's like in memo form and it's sent off. It's like that means it's like maybe making the cut, Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you have to really be confident in it. But even then, like, you can know what's got to change before anybody says anything.
Right.
And it's just the idea of knowing someone is hearing it or is about to hear it makes you hear all the little things that you know you should have changed before you show it to them.
Definitely. Yeah, and that one, I mean, I feel like that rap, like, I don't even think that's another example, that song. We, like, Zach would come in and play it, and I think he's like, and then there's going to be the rap verse. And I don't even think you played it all the way through. You might have sent a voice memo that was like a lot slower and stuff.
Yeah, it definitely was way slower.
But it was a thing where it like, we don't really think about it. And starting at 10, ideal bagel at 10:30.
Nice.
Cup of coffee or whatever. And by 10:45, we have already taken Zach's guitar from him. But it wasn't like it was a thing where we took it. Well, he's like, well, there's going to be a rap verse. We're like, all right, you don't need that.
Right.
You don't need that. And then but it was weird.
I was trying to change the game.
But it was weird because we're like, what it was Hampton being like, what are these chords? Got on the Rhodes. He brought his Rhodes, and Zach's trying to turn on the chords, and meanwhile y'all are like chordsing, and I'm always like getting sounds already and trying to just get everything. And I put it through my pedal board, through this one pedal, the Walrus slow, octave reverb, full on, and Hamp just like made a noise, and it was like a chordal. He was going, and we're like,
that's like that octopus sound.
And for some reason,
first verse,
it just like, I don't even know if we ever had a scratch rhythm track. It might have been like, click, 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 get up, master, like literally, we just like started that way, and while we were supposed to be figuring out chords, we ended up with the first half of the song, and then we're like, oh, actually we need the acoustic here on the chorus to like bring it back to home,
back to earth.
And then
I never even thought about the intro of that song. Like, I never thought, what is that sound?
Neither did we, and we still like at practice we're like, I think Hamp's like, I think I just did this.
Now having to figure how to play this live is like making us be like, oh shit, what did we do?
But it's so exciting but then by hour 5 we're like, oh god, what do we? Or like, no, probably like that same hour when we're like still not even knowing the chords, but we're like, well, y'all check this out. Press play, and it's to a click, and it's like, oh, there's something here. And Zach would grab the mic and just start singing, and then Hampton would already be on the next synth patch, and we would add 5 things before we even, which is like, it's like, and and sometimes it's the most chaotic, and like in some instances without the right people when you're doing that, it's like, because recording you can do a million things at once, and you can just, oh, it's so fun, we're doing it, but like this was like we were kind of like bunch of clay molding something, and it kept appearing as we did it, and then we kept just adding more things while we should have been finding out, like, wait, is there a verse and then a chorus and then another verse? Like, we didn't even know that. And then something happened where it got to the rap part, and we just made the simplest little drum machine beat. And we had the same chords. And we had the same, we just flew over, like had Hampton play the same like Rhodes chords and a pad, and we're like, the song's done.
That's it.
And then
we
were going to Agua Linda, And we picked, and Zach had his guitar. He had his guitar out just in case, you know, like we said, we
I'm
put
always
it on the
Always
fridge
waiting.
just for everyone to see.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh man, this guitar is kind of fun. He got this mini Strat, this pink mini Strat.
Verbatim, Tom said, "Fucker's badass."
Oh God, no, I did not.
He's on the record saying that.
Oh my God,
Fucker's badass, isn't he?
No way, I said that. God, Zach, that's like Harrison, Greg, and I were just talking about like how that show Fargo is just like, this is based on a true story. This is exactly how it happened.
Right.
And we changed the names to pay tribute, and it's just like, and then you Google it, and like, oh no, we just said that because we just thought it was funny.
Because it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we're going to Agua Linda, and I was like, man, this guitar is weird, and this Bit Crush pedal that we always make fun of Zach is
dude.
really weird.
It's no longer chained in, but it's still on the board.
But we had your board
Nice.
into my board, into the H3000, and I just started like playing guitar. Like I made like one noise. I think I made that like
Yeah.
right before the rap. Sorry for all the mouth noises. You have to DS the heck out of this guy.
It's perfect.
But yeah, like some noise was made, and we're like, "Whoa, this is interesting." While the beat was just going, and ended up just kind of like, we just need like a spaz guitar solo that doesn't sound like you're playing a normal guitar. Like it just has to be glitch. We're like into like Hampton's so into like Deet and Chris Anthony, and so then we kind of got into that glitch mode. And Shark Attack was a big, like some cool glitchy stuff there.
Yeah, it's
always
always like the,
Yes, that sound.
Yeah.
So sick.
hell yeah.
That's a secret
And
I'll
we-
never tell.
Well, what
I'll
about
tell it.
what
I'll
about
never
the
tell.
what about the boyoyoing?
Oh, dude, what the hell
We've gone
was
this
that?
whole time.
That was
we've
guitar.
we have not talked
Wait,
about it.
where?
And
In
better,
Better
taste.
Taste.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, that's literally no. Yeah, that was so when he was saying
He's
like
talking
the
about
shing.
Shark Attack.
No,
Dude, he's talking about Better Taste.
Yeah, better.
Oh.
I picked up the guitar before we were about to go to lunch, and I think I made the. I remember
The
driving
boy,
through
Yeah.
that thing.
Okay, you are talking about. The
And I made
boyoyoing.
that noise, and we're like, "What's going on here?"
Dude, I hated it at first. I'll be real.
I could see.
You hated it?
Yeah, but
we
I,
have the funniest video.
Well, it's
So-
a very ballsy
dude, it's
sound
like
choice.
I was like, damn, this is not going to be taken
Yeah.
seriously. And then we kind of like lived with it enough. Also, I feel like just between the three of us, I feel, sometimes I feel like the party pooper, and so I'm like,
fair.
dude,
You're
I'm
ringing it back in
Good.
a little bit.
We need it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
but
was
now
like,
I'll be like,
but as like any relationship is, there's compromise, and
Yeah.
the boyoing was a compromise that I could live with.
It's
and
the
then I was
best.
like,
It's
and then I was
sick.
like,
It's
hell
the
yeah, this is
coolest
cool.
thing ever.
Well, it's such a perfect transition to the rap verse because it almost lets you know like, hey, we're not taking ourselves too seriously here.
It's like scene change.
Before you drop some bars, you know.
The first time we played it live and that happened in my ears, I laughed my ass off.
Yeah.
It was
Hampton
bad.
had
Beauvais.
it was
Yes. I do
blasting
remember that.
through the monitors louder than anything.
Yeah, that thing was louder
But
than
honestly,
anything.
if you had played it off of Beauvais, it would have been the same effect. Where I was like, we are about to. It's just acoustic. Way I feel tonight. Strum. It was like that was where I was like, how do we take ourselves seriously?
Yeah.
We need something that's like listen.
Yeah.
And so
Jarring.
grabbing and jarring that
Right.
it's a new song.
Right. Yeah.
And that was like, and it became, when I heard that, I think we fought that spot a while. I don't know if I don't know when we had the guitar or not. I don't know if that had. I think we had it. It was just like strum into the verse.
I think we had that guitar, but we hadn't placed it right there yet. We were trying to figure out what.
Yeah,
We were trying to bridge that gap. We already had taken the guitar, like we had the guitar takes
that's
and
true.
shit.
That's true.
And we were chopping that stuff to hell.
yeah.
Like that solo is like very well engineered and like chopped by Tom, where it's like, oh, we have all this glitch shit. Let's make it into a part.
Yeah,
And then we like literally just like cut that thing and like put it.
yeah.
Yeah, I know there's a million sounds that all of them I could ask about, but I'll leave it with one more just because it's kind of on the top of mind and we're talking about Better Taste. At the end with the outro, when the guitar solo is happening, there's like a toot sound happening that sounds like these little clicks, and I don't know what it is.
It might be your. It might be your laugh.
Oh, dude, it may have been the.
There's a
And
couple
but
things.
it does this downward pitch thing. It's like
Oh.
almost
Right.
like
No,
the-
it is. It is.
it is the
It's-
laughing?
It's his. It's his.
It sounds like a DJ scratch.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
That's
me.
what it sounds
It's
like.
me laughing into the
No
microphone,
way.
and he pitched it down.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
That's
then
like-
he also pitched it up. I think there's two of them.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's micro shifted, so it's kind of like, but it's like a H3000 patch that's like changing. That's like
Never would have thought that.
yeah. It's like that's like these sessions was like us,
Whoa.
you know, because a lot of times it's like, hey, do a vocal, and Zach's like, oh, you want me to do a vocal? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm always recording.
You're just always recording,
thankfully.
yeah.
But there's a moment
And
there.
all the vocals were one take on this fucking record.
Really?
Every single, no, hell no.
They were all perfect.
I was like, I knew that
From
answer.
the
What I was
jump.
talking about. But that was kind of, it's like recording everything and being like, we need something here.
Yeah.
Grab the thing that's like at the end of this take that I haven't chopped off yet.
Mm-hmm.
That was where I feel like it was nice to be creative, especially Better Taste is that song. I mean, a lot of it was like Pro Tools creativity. I felt that was like a lot of, since there wasn't much guitar and there was like bass and like a lot of like keys, synth stuff. It was like, it's fun to be creative on that end where it was like recording everything and it was all ideas. We never were like, we're going to do this part now. But taking it and like trying to like, I feel like I had to be because it was also like we were saying about the guitar, it was crazy. And when I was playing it, like with this video that will maybe show over the speakers, I don't know.
I do.
It's
We have the
of
video.
me doing the guitar.
A video of you
Of
doing
Better
what?
Taste,
Oh.
and it's hilarious because I'm literally trying to play like I don't know how to like listen to music.
It is
Or
pretty
trying- yeah.
nuts.
But we kind of the whole song. We're like, okay, we think we like it. We think we like it. We think this is working. We're not sure. It's kind of the fear of being like, we're gonna try this synth. Is this wasting our time? Or clock's running down, whatever. And being able to like remember that thing we did 6 takes ago and that sound we didn't like, but the ending of it was awesome. What if we chopped that and reversed it and put it in the start of this thing? You know, that was a lot of. I felt like I was like on hyperspace trying to keep that all in line, and I think Better Taste is like the crazy mad scientist of all of us, like
Yeah.
of those
It is a
moments.
Frankenstein.
Whereas like that little sound,
Yeah.
it was like we needed a little thing right when it drops out and the bass comes out and you're kind of breathless. There's like a
Yeah,
little,
it's like it is, dude. The whole song, it's like starts at this kind of bassy level and it ends like you're ascending. All of a sudden,
because we drop it out. That was the last thing we did because we were like, this song's done. We're like, oh no. And what I was like, I think what we need to do is put the drum machine into the 303, the sampler, and we cut the low end out. And so it just and added a ride.
Right.
This Hampton.
But there's like no low end
Yeah.
of it. I don't even know if there's bass. And it's just like,
It's the acoustic strumming.
yeah.
Pretty
And just,
sloppy.
But right. It's
Right.
like, I feel like you're sending because there's no low end anymore. And it's a weird, like, the
yeah,
beat
it's like
goes
you've
on,
taken off.
And there's that sonar thing. Scoom, squaw, man,
Yeah,
I wish
yeah.
we had the tracks and we could play all these
I know,
little
dude.
tape
Like the
notes
tape
action.
notes. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be cool to do.
I
I'd
can
be-
walk through that wall and get them, I guess.
Yeah,
But,
true. Maybe for
Yeah,
the next one.
let's
Dude, yeah.
let's just
I'll play this
listen to
video.
video, dude. And this was we saw this video the other day. We found it.
So this
and
is
Zach
you-
was like
what
playing
we're
the
hearing
pedals too.
What we're hearing is
Is the Better Taste solo probably like the first moment of like
Yeah.
me trying to like play a take?
It's Tom through my Squire mini Strat, and then I'm like fucking up with the pedals. Like I'm sitting on the
Yeah.
ground, like twisting knobs
Yeah.
and stuff.
All right, let's hear it.
It's like
Dang,
we
dude.
pulled that up the other day, and it's like it's like the it just sounds
Yeah.
so funny because like the things we kept were the things that were like
That sounded great.
not musical. It was
Right.
like, you know,
Yeah.
but it was like when I did like the square, it was like that's lame. It's like
Yeah.
we did all the
When you're actually
Two
like,
Rascal
trying.
Flats.
Yeah.
yeah.
right. But it was also in drop Z tuning, so it was like I had no idea how to play it too.
That's
so that
true.
also helped. And I
Drop
still
Z
don't-
tuning.
and I still don't.
Secret. Nobody
Not
will
all
know.
of us can pull
Yeah.
it off.
A special
Man,
few.
This is a crazy, awesome album, dude.
Yeah, I'm so pumped for everybody to hear it. It's coming out as people listen to it in 2 days, so it'll be out
Dude,
Friday,
yeah.
September 1st.
Yes, sir.
As well as the live show that you guys have.
Yeah.
The
Dude,
album
yeah.
release with Jackson Welch, who just came on last
Hell
week.
yeah. Our boy J-Dub.
So everybody go listen to that episode if you want. And I'm stoked to see you guys play at historic Athens Firehouse. Such an interesting choice for a venue. What made you pick that?
Dude, I don't know. I probably just want to be different. I haven't played live all that much since the pandemic. We have had a pretty bad luck with like September 1st last year we were supposed to play the 40 watt with my friends Jeremiah and Aaron, and then I got COVID that week. After COVID was like a cool hot thing to get, and I was like in bed for a week, and so I couldn't play. And like before that, we had like tours kind of like get derailed because like 2 shows would like not have staffing because of COVID, and so then we're like, well, we can't justify going to play these other 3 shows without these 2 connecting shows, and so like haven't played a lot. Played in Athens a little bit, and this record does feel special. It feels like a very, I don't know. I mean, we worked on this thing for 2.5 years,
yeah,
you know, and so I like wanted it to be special, and I didn't really want to have to like. I wanted to do kind of my own thing, I guess, at the end of the day. And I wanted to like be able to. I started a company about a year ago where I print and design
cool,
shirts
badass.
and shit for people. Yeah, super cool, badass. And so this is actually going to be like the year celebration also of the company.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so I wanted something where like I could kind of throw a party for the record, where like we could play it live. We could do whatever we wanted to. I could kind of pimp it out and like do shit that like I think looks cool. Like the thought of being at a venue where it's like, oh, this is like happening at this venue kind of felt stupid to me, which it's not stupid.
Because you just wanted
people
something
do that
a little
lot,
more
you know?
interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to like be able to like kind of customize it and like do something that I'm like, this is like something that I think is cool. And that's honestly what this record really was like, I mean, we don't have, a lot of the songs don't have choruses. Like it's not like things that like are like the right way to do things, and that kind of got broken down as we were making this record, and I was like, well, why would I do that sort of like same infrastructure? Like why would I submit to playing a show
Why
at
stop
like
there?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
Stop at just the music.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, we like broke all the rules for this record anyways, so like why don't I just like rent out a space, and then I like try and get people out to come to this place that like doesn't really ever have music, and it's become a lot of work that I'm just having to I've been working on it for like 4 months.
What's something you didn't realize you were going to have to really work on that has proven to be a bit of a challenge?
Dude, I just haven't had much time. Like, I mean, there's still question marks for what the setup is going to be on the release show. As far as like, I was going to have to. I was like, maybe I can just like find someone to like loan out a stage. Maybe I could rent a stage. Maybe I could build a stage. And at this point, I was like, I haven't had the time, and like to rent it is just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, how can we make this cool without that? And so like, I think that I'm gonna just take shit from our house, like furniture and shit. And I think I'm gonna like build a like set up something that like kind of looks like a living space ish.
Yeah.
That conveys to the people, this is where the performance is happening, and that's not where we stand.
Whoa. And it also makes sense because you recorded it in
the
this
house.
environment.
Yeah.
In this house. It's like we're literally transporting you to this album.
That's kind of the goal without being like corny about it.
Right.
Our friend Blake, he has a project called Reeves that we both play in, and Tom recorded it, and I got to help like record play on some of the recordings. He had a release show for his project like a year and a half ago, and it kind of plans got changed, and he ended up doing it in a warehouse in Athens.
Whoa.
And it was cold as hell. It was like in January, it was like 20 degrees and there was no heat. And it was pretty brutal in that regard, but everything else about it was just like very, like that's kind of also what I drew from, was like, it was cool and like no one had done anything like that. And I still like, anyone that comes up to me and talks to me about, like, they're like, dude, that show was the coolest show I've ever been to. And so
you played that show?
I played guitar in his band.
Right.
And Tom played guitar in his band. And so people like will come up and be like, dude, remember that Reef show? It was awesome. I'm like, yeah, I agree. It was really cold.
Mm-hmm.
But also it was like very sick.
Yeah.
The uncomfortable and unfamiliar things.
Yeah, and it was also
awesome.
Like, there was so many like people came out and like were super stoked and like willing, and that was kind of also like the first thing where I was like, it's scary to not play at a venue because I'm like, are people gonna like show up? Because they don't usually come here for this kind of thing. Like even mentally.
Not to mention a venue has been designed to support music in a live situation.
Yeah.
When you guys have been doing this for a long time, so I know you have like a strong ability to make that happen, but not everyone has the intelligence to make a good sounding room and set things up the way that, it's going to make it sound okay.
Yeah. And that's honestly, I don't really know how it's going to sound in that room specifically, but we'll
find out.
We were going to find out. I have a good friend running sound, Daniel Nelson, and he's bringing all his stuff and I trust him. He like mixes regularly and is an engineer and like a producer of his own, and he's a great player as well. And so I have all the confidence in the world that he'll make it sound as good as that room can. And so I think it's also like a cool location. It's right on Prince Ave in Athens, and so it's kind of a cool little spot. It's 75 cap. I knew I wanted to do a really small room.
Nice. Because
I wanted it to feel intimate.
Right.
And so I'm excited for it. It is a funny decision in retrospect where I'm like, it would have been easier to just be like, hello, can I please play here? My album comes out on this day.
Right.
But I don't regret it yet. We'll see after
you
Friday.
Committed. I think the universe will reward you for that.
We'll see. And everyone's been a good sport about it, and people aren't really asking me too many questions, which is good because I don't really have all the answers. Yet. I've got to figure it. I haven't really had a second to iron out everything, but
that's okay.
Yeah,
keep them wondering.
Just load in at 7 a.m. and see how it.
Honestly,
it
that's kind of the thing. Is like Friday. The lady that runs the space, she's been really really sweet and very helpful, and she was like, I'm gonna leave the key in the lockbox, and as soon as the day begins, you can do whatever you want. And I was like, sounds great. And so I'm gonna hit it bright and early. And
oh, you weren't kidding. I thought you were joking about loading at 7
I'm
in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to like paint all like the backdrops and shit that I'm gonna hang, and like I have to figure out like lighting.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'll start prepping for the show on Tuesday.
Gotcha.
And then we'll load it all in on Friday and stuff.
Wow, dude, I'm hyped. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited too, man.
September 1st is gonna be a great day. We got new album and album release show, so everybody come on out to
dude. And Jackson Welch.
And Jackson Welch.
Yeah.
Next Friday.
When this comes out, it'll be 2 days. This will come out right before the Friday. Yeah.
Wow. That's just crazy that like this album is one done. We've had it.
We've had it done.
Zach burned us a CD after we got the masters back from Jonathan Berlin. Shout out Berlin.
Shout out Berlin.
Shout out
Berlin. And he burned these CDs and they've been in my car. So every time I turn my car on, it plays and for a long time.
Dude, since March.
So like this is just like our secret record that we've never been more proud of anything musically we've done. Like us three, I know all of us have said that. And it's just like, man, this is just for us though.
Dude,
and it's felt like it's just been just for us, which is so fun and it's so enough, and it's exciting that. And I know a lot of singles are out and been praised and stuff. So, but it as a piece is definitely something to behold.
And it's I want to like be careful when I say this because I don't want it to come across as like have some sort of like weird enlightenment when I say it, but I've like kind of moved on from the idea of like this record like being something like breaks it for me or like impresses a lot of people or like it like clicks with like the masses or whatever. But like us making this record, it was literally like we're walking out of the studio, I was like, this is my fucking favorite song right now. And I like feel immense pride in like what we did, and I'm very, very grateful. And it also feels as much my record as it feels like it's Hampton and Tom's record as much as it is mine. And I'm like grateful that they had enough ownership and like pride in what we were doing to care about it that much. Cause I don't think it would not be what it is without them. But also like we had rehearsal. This is the first time we're playing. It's always been, I say always, when we were recording June, it was just the three of us. And so the live shows for June were me, Hampton, and Tom, 3-piece, Tom playing bass, Hampton on the kit, and then me playing guitar. And this time we're playing a 5-piece with our friends Jaron and Cooper.
Nice.
And
Walter Slide.
Yeah.
Got to get them on the pod as well.
Yeah, dude. And Daniel, also the guy that's going to be engineering the whole night and running front of house.
Sorry about that.
All good.
He's
bass player in Walter Slide.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And so that's also the thing is like he knows us well. He knows the band well. He's going to make it sound great. But we had a rehearsal here a couple weeks ago, and like even playing those songs in our living room, I was like, this feels like it's already like enough for me, you know?
Yeah.
Like that felt like a performance in and of itself where it's like, it's just getting to play these songs makes me very, very excited. And I'm like, it is truly like a passion project of sorts where it's just like, I fucking love doing this and I love doing it with the people that I get to do it with. And I don't know, it was a very emotional and like moving thing to get to make this record, and I'm excited to share it. But it's also like really great because it feels pretty low stakes where I'm like, I already fucking love doing this.
You did it.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing is like people can love it or not really fuck with it. And I think that I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, you
great.
put everything you had into this album and you get to reap the rewards of that now. And I'll never forget when we were after the Bouvet show and we were in Tom's room listening back to some of the songs that you guys had, you know, on the album that weren't out yet. And Jaron and I at one point just looked at each other and we were like, what the fuck is going on? Like they're just,
it was probably
like,
Tiger Woods 03.
And y'all are like, not arguing, but like talking about, oh, I think this should be this. I think it should be that. Me and Jaron are just like, are we like even hearing how amazing this shit is? Obviously you guys had heard it.
Right. We were not, this was like,
we were in work mode.
We were like, we're going to finish the album tomorrow, I think was either the thing was going on. Like we had to go and finish everything,
right.
Or it was mix notes. I can't
You were
remember.
talking about the beginning of Single the Summer, what should happen at the very beginning.
Yes.
And you guys kept going back and forth, and I'm just like, whatever you decide is going to
that
be
was
fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was a last minute thing.
Yeah, that was a minor shift. Dude, single for the summer is also, I credit Hampton Peay.
That song is amazing, dude.
Credit Hampton Peay on that. I didn't touch a damn instrument on that song.
Whoa.
That was the first one, really. I think where Hampton and I were like, we're not letting Zach.
Yeah.
You have always been like, I want to sing.
That was the one where I was like, I want to open this record and I want to sing.
Yeah, but we were like, all right, bass, Rhodes, and drum machine.
Yeah,
nice. And then we did that.
And Hampton rewrote the chords to that song also, like in the studio.
Right.
I had to like learn how to play that song after we recorded.
Whoa.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So truly, like, this is a collaboration.
Yeah. That one definitely big time. Track 2 is Shark.
Sick,
Shark was the one that I fought for. I thought Shark was the hit from the jump. Tom was
It's
fingers
my favorite.
crossed.
For sure. That one is just,
That's the thing,
it
though, is
hits
like,
so hard for me personally.
We did Shark, fingers crossed, and Single, and I was like, I love all of these.
Yeah.
And we also like did all the drums in one day.
Yeah.
And I feel like Hamp and I broke new ground of like just getting things like, you know, there's like always producing, engineering, especially drums. It's like threshold that you're trying to get, and I feel like I'll never reach it ever. You know, like oh man, but it was like where it got to the point where it's like, if that's like what good drums sound like, we got here and we're like, we like what this sounds like. This is cool. And for all three of those songs, and we're like, this is
it.
Gives a crap what it sounds like. This is awesome. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And so I loved all three of those songs. I mean, Shark was like, I think I was on board with Shark too. But once you did that vocal take, it was like,
dude. Yeah, once we got that vocal, it was sick. That when we did those 3 songs, we had probably like 4 days, 1 week where we worked on those 3 songs, and I had come off like a gnarly sinus infection and couldn't really sing, and so I was very, very frustrated that week. They also wouldn't let me play guitar. And so I was like, what the hell am I good for?
Yeah, what am I doing?
I was like, because we're not going to get a vocal take that we're going to keep.
We weren't kind about it. We were like, no, this is what's good happening.
They were like, dude, it would be like, Zach, don't play guitar. And then someone else would do something like, dude, that sounded so sick. I love that Zach's not playing guitar on this.
Like, wow, this sounds so much better without
Zach's really
guitar.
Zach, you're looking kind of short today, bro.
Yeah. Did you sprinkle?
No,
Like,
that's
what
the
the
thing.
hell?
We're like Zach, and then like Shark Attack, we'd be like, we'd make whatever calls we needed to, and then Hamp and I would get to the next thing. Zach goes to the bathroom and writes the chorus.
Oh, I wrote the chorus on that Gibson that I was talking about earlier. I took the acoustic into the bathroom and wrote the chorus. Going into the week, Tom wrote the Rascal Flatts riff that was like
Yeah, the Rascal Flatts
I had
riff.
the chords that was like the walk down and then the 4 minor, and I was like, that riff is, or like that, like whatever part is gonna be really cool. And then Tom came up with that, which was sick. And I had the
rhythm of the chorus is very interesting because it's like
weird.
the snare hits on the one, which like is such a perfect transition, but it's not an obvious one, you know.
It was weird. I mean,
It's weird.
those drums they figured out. Actually, I had to go to dinner, and they finished the drum stuff, and we kind of like shifted some things around to where it like felt more cohesive. But I did.
Yeah,
I went to the
right.
bathroom and wrote that chorus and came back and I was like, all right, here we go. But going into the studio, I had the "Keep My Mouth Out Your Name."
Mhm.
You know what I'm trying to say? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sitting on gold, y'all.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And
Truly.
You fought for that. And Hamp and I were like, huh.
originally the song was called Jesus. It was called Shark
Yeah.
Attack because I didn't have a title. And then I was like, parentheses, Jesus Christ. And Tom was like, dude,
Christ Air.
he was like, you've done enough harm. He's like, you can't lose all of your fans.
Right.
now.
You
I
can't
don't think
take
I
the
said
Lord's
that.
name in vain.
I think I just named it Christ Air.
Right. He was on record. We'll pull it up.
I record everything.
Yeah.
I got a voice memo.
But I'm so glad that we got to talk about this. Like I said, I know we could go for another 5 hours, but we're already like almost at an hour 10.
Heck
So
yeah.
I think
Hell
we
yeah.
wrap this up just
Deluxe
with me
edition.
All right,
saying-
let's crack up MVP 03.
Yeah. Let's start the album right now. We're just gonna be a listening party right now.
It's pretty short.
It is, yeah, 8 songs, but it's short and sweet. You know,
Yeah.
It hits
Just like
everything
its
you want.
creator.
What the fuck, dude?
Zach and I are the-
Yo,
Zach
if you're
and I are the
not
same height.
watching the YouTube, I mean,
Maybe we
I'm
should
sitting
stand
down.
up and let the podcast
You're
decide.
wearing your boots again.
You're wearing your Nikes, dude.
Yeah, they go negative.
I got this new shirt on that Parker just gave me. It's
That's
pretty
right.
sweet.
He looks like he's about to ride a broom
just
through a
says
little
the
hoop in
zoo,
the
dude.
air.
But you better believe if that fit me, I would be keeping it. But it's just
Dude.
too big for me, and it fits you like a
Our
glove.
biggie
dude.
boy.
Like a good old, big old glove.
Just kidding.
I love it.
Thick
I'm
Tom.
5'11" and maybe a half.
With boots, he's 6
We're
foot.
5'12", dude.
5'12". I almost put that on my driver's license the other day.
My driver's license, I'm 6
almost
foot
put-
180.
It asked
You have the choice.
It asked you for feet and inches on this application that I was doing online because I'm switching my license from Florida to Georgia.
Yeah.
And I had 5 foot and then inches. I almost put 12 because it let me.
Oh, whoa.
I might do it.
Why not? Yeah. What are they gonna do?
No, they're gonna turn you away, dude. You can't. Do
They've
that
turned me
again.
away twice this week.
Oh no.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
We don't have to talk about it.
Well, let's take this over the last 5. We'll
Yes.
wrap up the album section, but
Yes, sir.
I'm so pumped for everyone to hear it. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Dude,
September
thanks for having us
1st,
on to talk
of
about it.
course,
Thank you,
dude.
Park.
I could keep going, and I probably will ask you a million questions even off the air. But let's just take this over to the last 5, where you get to pick out a few of these questions here from the bowl and just answer them.
All right.
Let
And you
John
guys can
decide.
both answer as well.
Give me a little piece of shit. Oh, it's a long one. Underrated artist at the moment. Tom, you start.
Oh God. Underrated artist. Zac Crook.
There you go.
Damn.
Zac Crook.
You
Next
said it.
question.
You said it, man.
Underrated artist. Everybody in Athens, man. I rate them everyone very high, but if we're thinking
Hell yeah.
we're thinking like famous people and not yet famous people, I think everybody in Athens. Everyone should check out what Athens got going on.
Athens
Some
has
pretty
a lot of
crazy
cool shit.
tunes
It's
going
pretty
on.
amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Everybody I've talked to in Atlanta who ask me about how Athens is, they're all just like, they're like, what is it like? And I'm like, it's actually like a community of people that all are supportive of each other, and everybody's very talented. And I feel like as much as I love Atlanta, I grew up there, it's a little intimidating to like try to find people and find a community. But here it's just so centralized, and it's like, I mean, it was just made for
Yeah.
people to thrive in this environment.
Yeah.
It's a bit more accessible here, which is really a special thing. I think I forget about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd say everyone in Athens. I've been listening to this cat named Brandon a lot. He's a guy out of LA. He's an R&B
Just
singer.
one name,
Brandon, which is probably not doing him any favors as far as like finding his shit.
Yeah.
But he's really, really cool, and I think that the songs that he's making are really cool. His name's Brandon.
I thought you might have said Golden Vessel.
Oh, dude, hell yeah. Golden Vessel.
Because you showed me him, I was like, Jesus, this
Dude,
guy's sick. And I'd
Australian
never heard of
guy.
him. Yeah, Australian.
Yeah. He also has like a DJ project called 1 Tablespoon.
Oh.
Or maybe it's teaspoon. It's whatever is abbreviated.
1 TSP.
It's either TSP or TBSP or whatever.
Okay.
And that shit's awesome too. But Golden Vessel, he has one of my favorite records that came out, I think last year.
Mm-hmm.
That one's really cool.
EEE or something.
Everything, every day, everything.
That's right. Yeah.
Crazy record.
That is a
Dude,
great
that
record.
one's awesome. Lots of Euro rack shit.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Like modular synth type stuff.
Yeah. Nice.
Very cool.
Sick.
What about you? What's your answer?
I guess I don't know if they're super underrated, but I like recently kind of got into them, and I feel like everyone should know about them. Is Slow Pulp.
Oh,
Sick.
cool.
You know Slow Pulp?
I do. I've. What's the record? What does the record look like? The like. blew up?
So one of them, they have a full album that's black, and there's like these. I can't even describe it.
Yeah, I've
It looks
definitely
like
listened
bugs,
to them.
but they're
Yes.
not bugs.
Yeah,
You actually look closer, and they're like cutouts of like 90s looking, like, I don't know what the word is. Here, I'll just let you
they look like bugs.
take a look at it. But this album rules, and honestly, their new song called Doubt, I have to show it to you. It really, really reminds me of Shark Attack.
Whoa,
Like,
sick.
like a lot, almost the same. So you see how those look like bugs? They're actually like, they're like 90s style dudes with
that's
baggy
a guy
jeans
doing a
kickflip. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, I know a kickflip when I see one, bro.
You do. But yeah, that whole album, fantastic. The new songs they've been putting out recently, amazing. So
Cool.
I've glanced at Slow Pulp.
Hell
yeah.
check them out for sure.
That's
Slow
cool.
Pulp.
I will.
Sick.
I feel like that's probably the number one for me.
Cool.
And then the new McGee, but I wouldn't say he's underrated. He's just,
No, that
but
guy's-
those two new
He's
songs are
doing
great.
fucking fine.
All right, number 2.
This one's a long day. Cool.
Yeah, they're all kind of long pieces of paper.
In the studio or playing live? Tom.
Gosh. In the studio, man.
Yeah, you studio
Flirt.
rat.
Studio rat, dude.
Hell yeah.
You play a lot live though for a studio rat, you know?
Yes.
Tom's
Yes.
A
also
lot
good
of
at
people
playing
are one or
live.
the other.
I love playing live.
Tom's actually good at playing music, which is which is good. He's not just like a fucking nerd.
I love playing live.
He's a good guitar player.
It depends on the day. Thank you, Zach.
Great
He's
bassist.
Never complimented
True.
before.
What the hell, man? I'm a nice
Kidding.
guy.
You say Tom's kind of not that short.
He's
Dude.
kind of tall.
We're the same height.
The same height. Yeah, I think the studio. I think that's the like
I'll tell you-
catharsis and like putting the puzzle together and like
Mhm.
listening, going and pressing play and listening to that rough mix that you were not sure about, and you're like, I made that, or we made that, and we can send it to you to listen to and also like,
Right.
or not like. It's like a crazy, especially like, you know, my band got records pressed, and like the fact that you can like make something in here and freaking put it onto a physical format like that, it's insane. Like, and it looks just like that scene right there. And that's something that he made in a studio.
It's
And
real.
it's very cool.
It's right in front of you.
That the mystic of that, I feel like means more to me and gives me life more than
Yeah, for
playing
sure.
live.
Man.
But
You
playing
can't
live
pay
is
rent
so-
playing live.
Can't pay rent playing live. I mean, maybe.
Sorry.
Maybe if you're touring all the
That was-
time.
Maybe.
Zach was sitting on that for a while.
I know, dude.
I watched, dude. He looked at me. I was like, he's stewing
I
on
know.
something
I saw
over
it.
there.
I
He's
saw
just
it, dude.
waiting
No,
for
I
his
know.
moment.
I give Tom a lot of shit. Tom, what was the thing that was said last night where you were like, I did that shit, baby? I said, yeah, you and my money.
I don't even.
Dude, I can't remember what we were talking about, something on the record with Tony and like of the album, and Tom was like, Yeah, bro, you like that? I did that shit. I said, yeah, dude, you and my money.
No idea. I can't remember what we were talking about.
Oh my god.
But it was very funny.
I don't really know. If it's a good gig, I like playing live. But if it's a bad gig, I like being in the studio. If I get to play guitar, I like playing in the studio, man. I'm just kidding. The most fun that I had on this entire record was singing, and I'm glad that I didn't play guitar. I'm also not playing guitar for like over half the show.
Oh, sick, dude. That's awesome.
Which is what I don't want to play guitar live anymore.
Yeah.
I want to sing.
That's
I like
awesome.
to sing, so.
That's so scary, not having that, guitar to hold. You're just open.
Yeah. I think we're planning on sitting for the show, which will be nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Keep the energy chill.
Yeah.
What about you?
You're
a studio rat yourself.
Yeah, dude. Studio every time. I mean, part of the reason is probably because, now I used to do the things on my own and just produce it on Logic, and that was it. And then I realized there's a lot more people that are way better than me at that, and I can just use them as like a conduit to make the ideas in my head sound like legit instead of
you and your money, I guess.
Yeah, you and your money, So got to be studio.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. No,
but money ain't no thing, honestly.
No,
when you're like me,
not when you're making your dreams come true.
You're darn right, man.
Not when you're rich.
Worth every penny.
That's right. All right, let's check question number 3.
All right.
Can I pick this one? You picked it.
Yeah, let him do the bowl.
You keep.
Pass the bowl.
I want to FaceTime Hampton, have him answer. He's definitely in bed.
Hampton doesn't actually know English, though.
Perfect album, front to back.
Well, we got one right here.
Oh.
Which we haven't talked about.
Yeah, we can.
D'Angelo, The Vanguard, Black Messiah. I don't know if you think that's a perfect album.
Okay, for Two Birds, One Stone's sake, yeah, I'll say this one, and then we can talk about it briefly. I do love this album. Yeah.
When I mean perfect album, I usually imply no skips. Cool. I feel like that, because I have albums that are some of my favorites of all time that there's still a couple songs I'll skip.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I would say perfect album. I don't know, dude. Right now, the album, like, as far as, like, a piece of work, like a body of work, where I'm like, I don't really know if I like any of these songs as, like, hits, it's the Dijon Absolutely record. Like, that, I'm like, nothing, like, it's amazing as, like, a piece of art as an album. And if I'm listening to the album, I'm not skipping anything because it all informs one another, it feels like. But also, it's like if you hear like those songs pop up on like I was working today at the cafe, and a couple of like the songs from that record would come on this like radio playlist, and it would be completely out of context, and you're like, what the hell is happening?
Right.
But when it's pieced the way that it is, it's like, this is amazing.
If you hear like God and Wilson alone, it's like, what?
Dude, yeah.
Or is
Credits
is weird, dude. And I gotta say that as much as I love that album now, I actually didn't really like it the first time I heard it, because I wanted all of them to be like many times that song.
Yeah.
And they were not.
No.
But even still, to this day, I start the album on scratching.
Dude, you don't like Big Mike's, which is the craziest shit to me.
I skip Big Mike's.
I think that's my favorite song on the record.
Wow.
I know. It's a personal flaw, but I just don't think I really like the live-ish version they did, and that really hits home. And then I don't really want to hear that song shortened and not watching the video. Like, that energy is so good that I don't want the watered down version of it. And not to say it's watered down. I would never say that to
Careful,
Dijon.
bro.
I know.
They're listening.
If you're listening, Dijon, please come on. I still think it's a great song, but I love scratching more. So I just want to start with that one.
Yeah. I saw that Big Mike's live before I'd heard. I think I had seen. Like,
you'd seen the videos,
Twitter or something. I'd seen that scene around, and I didn't know anything. Or I think I saw people posting about it. I was like, the guy in the construction vest like that.
Right.
And then I stumbled upon Big Mike's live, my own, and I was like, this video series
It's
has
crazy as hell.
changed the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I was like, this is so different and compelling that I was like, I hadn't felt that in a long time. I was like, this is like
When the camera pulls out and you realize,
realize
like,
they've
on
been
the
in the
stage.
studio the whole time.
yeah, it was.
fucking
It's also so
unbelievable.
sick.
Yeah,
What's your album?
I think we talked about this last time I was on, but I think it's got to be Nick Drake's Pink Moon.
That's right. Yep.
I think it's just like I only ever listen to that album front to back. Most time, like
You're sitting there. You're not doing anything else.
It's like when I try, I feel like that's the only record, or it's Drive or whatever. But that's like one of the ones that stops me in my tracks 100%. Like for whatever reason, it always has, and it's just so good, and it's so. I don't know. It's just there's nothing else like it as far as I'm concerned, and it was made in a night.
That's insane.
In a morning.
Nikki D.
And Nikki D.
That's a great one.
Yeah, it's like I think it makes you have to sit with it and yourself, and at least me. I can't just throw it on in the background.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Well, it sounds like he's whispering in your ear the whole song.
It's so good. He's so like. It seems like there's just no ego or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like releasing, and
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
He's just not. I don't know.
It's almost like he didn't make it for people to hear it.
Exactly. I guess by that time, I guess I'm not totally sure on the history, but he wasn't even totally famous or anything until after he died. So it's like he was just making his album.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'll
from
be me.
10 p.m.
Maybe.
10 p.m. to 2 in the morning, and
this
then
episode will blow up, dude.
Dude, yeah.
you get stream money for this.
If you survive me, I hope
if
that
you guys want to
really
donate
pays
to the
out.
Patreon, I don't have a
right
Patreon,
on,
but
right
if you guys want to Venmo at Parker Whirling, then I will be making money from this.
Come on,
Hell yeah.
boy.
Anybody wants to sponsor?
I had like 2 of his sparkling waters today.
Yeah,
Come
that's
on,
right,
y'all.
dude. I'm running
You let
low
me
on the
Fund our
sparkling
boy
waters.
Park.
Please,
No,
please
it's
fund me.
it's a sparkling water fund in this house.
Yeah, we should just have like one of those take a penny, leave a penny things for the sparkling water.
I think we should get one of those mall fountains where we throw quarters.
Ooh,
That'd be cool.
that would be pretty sick. Yeah. All right. What's question number 4?
Dream artist or producer to work with.
I think that my producer, someone I look up to the most is Andrew Sarlo, and his projects he works on a lot, Big Thief and Howdy. Probably 2 artists that I would, love to work with in whatever capacity. Whether I don't know. I think Sarlo is like kind of he's got a bunch of videos online and stuff, but everything he does is kind of the same way where it's like so creative and like breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Not in a insane cheesy way, but it's like pushing boundaries. This sounds cool. We like this.
Right.
Sorry about it, kind of thing. And I think that he just does such a good job creating those records for that artist, that specific artist, and just like getting the vibe. He has a sound, but it's like the way he can do a Howdy's record and then a Big Thief record, and they've got the Sarlo tricks, but they sound like that band.
And not
so
to mention
through and through.
The new Big Thief album, every song is wildly different.
Right. I guess that had a bunch of producers on it, technically.
Oh, it did?
Yes, and I know they'd recorded a bunch of different places too, but like early Big Thief stuff and UFOF was all, and yeah, everything up to that I think was mostly Sarlo as far as I know.
Gotcha.
But that's probably my answer.
Andrew Sarlo. All right, Zach.
Hell yeah. For the sake of the question, producer, Kanye West.
Damn.
I think I'm kidding about that.
I think
I'm kidding about that.
we still listen to College Dropout on the daily. I'm just kidding. I don't. But
I don't on
you
the
can't
daily.
deny.
It's awesome. Me
You
and
can't
Tony were
deny
talking about
the
that the other night. But dude, honestly, I don't really like. As far as producers that I admire, there's a couple records that Ethan Gruska's made that I think are really, really cool.
Ethan Grusk. I don't think I know
Ethan
him.
Gruska.
Gruska.
Yeah. He did Phoebe's records.
Oh, okay.
He did that Ryan Beatty record that came out this year.
Yeah.
He has his own project that I think Phoebe co-produced with him, and that shit is awesome. And then he works with Bon Iver, Justin Vernon.
Yeah.
So that stuff is very cool. artist
Maddie Healy.
Dude, Maddie's really cool, and I think that he's like kind of a producer in his own right. I think working with like, dude, George makes a lot of their shit, and I think that stuff would be really, really cool. Like all the London house type shit that they do.
Yeah, their Tape Notes episode they got 2. Both are amazing.
But also when I listen to like these like Gruska, the guy that I like, and then the 1975 boys, it's like you hear all of them talk, and all they want to do is make music with their friends. And I think that at the end of the day, it's what I've found is like I love running with the boys, like me, Tom, Hamp in a room.
Yep.
Sending shit to like Jonathan Berlin, you know? It's like that's the way we do things, and it's
the same,
fucking awesome, and I love
the same ethos as like let's have this show at the Athens Historic Firehouse because it's interesting and it's unique and it's cool and it's not expected. You know, it's if you go to work with a producer everybody knows, then there's like this expectation of what it will probably end up being like. But if it's just you and your friends, like you blow up kind of together in a way, and then you end up creating this sound because it doesn't exist in this higher plane yet.
Yeah.
You know?
That's kind of, and it's also like I don't have much interest in like making it, and if it's not with like the people that I want to do it with, you know?
That's huge.
It's also like I think that if some sort of like success is going to come from that, I think that we can do it as a group.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
like,
awesome.
I think it's fully capable of doing that. And these are my boys.
The homies.
Yeah. They're who I want to work with, and that's why.
Yeah, that's the end of the day answer right there.
Yeah. And I wish, honestly, I feel a little insecure sometimes because there's a joke that I've been told in town with Tony told us at a bar one night. He was like, someone was like, dude, let me play in your band. Because I was going on a solo tour because Tom and Hamp couldn't go. And Tony's like, unless your name is Hampton or Tom, you're not getting in that man's band. And I mean, I love playing with the guys I play with, you know?
Yeah.
And they're more than just
shout
like
out
bandmates.
Cooper and Jaron.
Dude, shout out Cooper Jaron. They're fucking taking this shit to the next level.
Yeah, I got to see you guys with Jaron, but not with Cooper yet.
Dude.
So I'm very excited to see the 5-piece.
Excited to have Cooper on the team. He's going to be making a lot of noise.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be cool.
All right, let's wrap it up with the last question here.
Yes.
Shouts out whoever's made it this far.
Yeah, for real. You guys rule.
You're all the real. What's your name?
All the real ones.
Come hang. Best album covers.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Interesting one
You
to
start,
end on.
Park.
Best album covers. So you would think I've heard this question a few times that I would be able to answer it by now.
Damn, I gotta scroll.
Honestly, and it's easy to say this because it's in my top 5 favorite albums, but I also just listened to it the other day because it was its birthday. That's Blonde by Frank Ocean.
I just saw it on this thing.
It just popped up on mine.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
That album cover is just, it's perfect. It's beautiful. It fits the vibe of the whole thing so well.
Those are cool. Hell yeah.
So that would have to be one of them for sure.
Oh shit, I think this is what I was maybe landing on.
Wow.
That one's cool.
There are too many canceled bands.
Oh, yikes.
Come on, dude. I said Kanye's name out loud.
Yeah, true. That's top tier canceled
dude,
right there.
he's having a tough go of it.
Yeah, he's been out of the sphere for a while though. I feel like.
Yeah, for good reason.
Man.
Yeah. I wonder when he'll make an appearance.
Sorry, I'm not ignoring whatever's going on. I'm just trying to scroll to have the. I'm not trying to do this off the dome, bro. I'm trying to make an educated decision.
Man, I know.
Right, this is a tough one to say off the dome.
What are we thinking?
Oh God.
Sorry, I'm looking at canceled artists right now.
Damn, dude, how many you got in your phone?
No, it's just Spotify. They're suggesting it.
Right. It's the algorithm.
I'll name like a top 3. The one that I was listening to Jackson's episode yesterday, actually, and this question came up, and I was like, damn, what do I think about that? Music Soul Child came out with an album in 2000 called I Just Want to Sing. It's all one word. It's pretty fucked up spelling.
Mm-hmm.
But it's this it's him fucking looking pimp as hell.
Let's see it. Let me see this.
Dude.
Okay.
Leaned the
He's
fuck
so
back.
leaned back. Yeah.
It's so sick, and the the fucking font, dude, it's so cool. And he's also cool, and this record is amazing. It's maybe one of my favorite records, but I think that one's really cool. And then actually, that one's like historically, I grew up on that record.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw this one today. It's a vegan, the producer that worked on Frank Ocean shit and with McGee. He has this record.
Which one?
It's called Text While Driving If You Want to Meet God.
Oh, yeah. An incredible.
And it says that shit in like a digital font, and then it's got the car crash on it. I think that shit, I saw that today while I was at work, and I was like, God damn, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then out of like my friend group-ish, there's one that I always think about. I have a friend in Jacksonville, Florida, named Corey Kilgannon, who put out a record a couple years ago. It's actually, I think he's since taken it down. It was under his alias called Radiant Phaedrus. And it was an album called Lazy Deuces, which I think is one of my favorite records of all time.
Lazy Deuces.
Yeah. And he had like this crazy like collage of like him and all of his friends, like actual like analog photos that were cut out and made into a collage. And it was so sick, and like it was kind of 3D because they weren't like all the same depth and stuff.
Right.
And I remember seeing that when it came out, and I was like, dude, what in the world? And it was like so DIY and cool, but I love that album cover, and I think about it a lot.
That's awesome. What about you, Tom?
I mean, I'll give a couple. I mean,
yeah.
Sgt. Pepper.
Of course, classic.
That's like thinking
Shout
about
out John Trautwein.
Yeah, shout out. Porches record, All Day Gentle Hold.
That's your favorite album cover.
Very cool. I really like that. That I've got that a record recently, and that whole packaging is so cool. It's just
we were
so
talking about that with
and
Jackson.
Bold. Yeah.
That album is amazing.
That record is one of my just favorites, but
it is a jarring album cover.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's like makes you think like you can't like really read it.
Yeah,
you know
what's going on here?
That stuff is so sick. Honestly, I love Pink Moon.
Pink Moon is insane.
It's just part of
it definitely gets you.
It's part of the experience to me. It's like I'm usually holding the vinyl. It's just like strange.
So strange.
It's strange, and like I don't have a tattoo. I've never wanted a tattoo really ever, other than I want to get something from that record.
That face, that heart face.
Yeah, the sad clown, or the teacup, or like the
whatever's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually have another one that I was thinking about.
Also, I would say the In Rainbows album cover.
Oh, nice. I thought about that too.
Dude.
What's this one, Zach? 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Yeah.
Dude.
I mean,
I see
iconic.
that album cover and I'm like, God damn.
Takes you back.
Yeah, dude. That was senior year.
Yeah. I didn't listen to it until like that next year.
That came out, dude. It may have.
A little late.
I'm checking release date right now. That may have came out the same day as this D'Angelo record.
Really?
It was December. That came out December 9th.
I wonder if it says on the back here.
I've got it on Spotify, bro. December 15th, so they were a week apart.
Whoa.
But, yeah, senior year was a crazy time for music.
Truly. Yeah, it was. 2016 was insane. Blonde. That's when that came out.
That's when...
wait, that was 2016?
2016, and
7 years
also
ago.
fucking Control, SZA.
Control,
I think
that's
came out
right.
the same year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
There was a bunch that came out in 2016 that were insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
It feels like newer or like sooner than I would have expected.
Yeah.
2016, I feel like I don't know.
Also, both SZA albums, amazing album covers.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree. I was looking at Control and SOS.
Mm-hmm.
Control is like more nostalgic, where it's like,
right.
I fucking love that record.
We've seen it a million times now, but
it's awesome.
It's still awesome.
Yeah.
And we love the Christian Lee Hudson saga.
Dude, yeah, the Christian Lee Hudson, which also Adam, the guy that did, shout out Adam. I don't know if you'll ever see this, but Adam, sweetest person that I've gotten to work with artwork and stuff. Also, Pilcher did my art for June.
Oh, nice.
I love Logan Pilcher.
Shout out Logan. Longest episode of this podcast so far in person, except I don't know. Well, no, he'll probably still be there.
Ask us any question.
Come on,
any
just keep
gear,
going.
and we'll keep going.
Yeah, you're right.
My mini Strat.
Oh
yeah.
God.
Anyways.
No.
We'll FaceTime Hampton.
Adam.
Right.
Adam, I'm sorry, I don't really know how to say your last name out loud. There's a Z early on in it.
That's tough.
But Adam did the artwork, all the collage artwork for Christian Lee Hudson, and then I got in touch with him, and he did the artwork for the single covers of Move On and Anniversary.
Yeah.
Which I love both of those, and it was a pleasure to get to work with him.
That's
and he's
cool.
Genuinely one of the sweetest
Christian
people
Lee
I've
Hudson, I
communicate
know
with.
that name.
Yeah, he's
because you guys
Phoebe's
have
old
talked
guitar
about him.
player, and then Phoebe produced his records.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're awesome.
That's sick. That you
Tom
got to
plays
work
the
with
riffs a lot.
Oh, nice.
It's the only thing I can play in
Oh,
drop
yes.
C.
Okay. I've seen the album covers. It makes me think of Stranger Things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The text.
The beginners one definitely is very Stranger Things-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was real cool.
Hell yeah. So nice. Good couple picks there.
Yeah, dude.
In Rainbows is you.
And Rainbows would be, In Rainbows Blonde. And it kind of feels a little like cheating because
Blonde,
those
yeah.
are two of my top 5 like favorite albums ever.
Yeah,
In
it's all
Rainbows
part
is-
of the experience.
who's
It's all
in
part of the
Rainbows?
experience. What?
In Rainbows is who?
Radiohead.
Okay, cool. Oh, yeah,
It's the cover
I know
where
that
it's just
shit.
like Radiohead.
yeah,
and
yeah,
Rainbows.
yeah. That's cool.
Which at this point, everyone has kind of taken that style of just like layering text
Yeah.
really big on the
Dude,
cover.
not me.
Except Zach. Not
Yep.
Zach. Not
I think
yet.
we should sit here and play videotape through the headphones and watch Zach react to it.
Oh.
'Cause Zach hasn't probably listened to that record, right?
Have you never heard
Radiohead?
that
I've
album?
probably heard them passing if it like comes on.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Videotape's interesting. That we should show them the video,
We'll show 'em the video
about why
afterwards.
that song is fantastic.
Whoa.
But the whole album truly perfect. This was not a question that was asked, but perfect album. Actually, yes, it was, and that would have been my answer
Oh, yeah.
because every song is perfect. The
Hell yeah.
album cover I think is perfect. Like I remember seeing that at an Urban Outfitters. Sorry.
No, dude.
And I saw it from
No
like
shame.
afar. I was like,
Shout out to
that's
Urban, dude.
one
Shop
of the most,
local.
Yeah,
Logo.
we got one downtown.
Is
We do.
is a perfect album? Does the artwork matter? I think so.
that's an interesting question.
I really do.
That is, yeah. I mean, if you want to include every aspect of it, then yeah, probably so. And I think I would say that for In Rainbows and Blonde. There's a few albums I love that I think the album cover is just like
It's not good.
so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know, and
Whose
it's like
is it?
frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen the MVP 2003 album cover?
No one's seen it.
Except me.
I've seen like
You have.
18 different
It's
versions.
Drake as hell, dude. Why? Yeah, I also I
He
took
always sends versions, and then Hamp's like, "Oh, so that's it."
Like, oh,
I did. I've
that
gotten
the
my
final?
dude. I've got my heart broken so many fucking times by these two guys
Yeah.
that I'm
Dude,
just like,
we always laugh about it because we're like, Zach's always like, "Nah, I want you guys my only band," and then we like are in the band, and
Yeah.
we're like, "No, we're doing this or that."
mean as hell.
right.
I've never voiced an opinion in
You're just
any
taking
band
advantage.
ever as much as I do, but it's like all for the love of the game,
Dude.
though. And we're all like, "This is what we think."
The
Right.
artistic, I will say, the artistic direction, in part due to the company that I've now begun, Super Cool Badass, that has become like a creative outlet for me, design stuff, and I am proud to say, like after, I mean, it took a long time to roll the singles out, and so like I said, Adam had worked on those 2
Right.
singles, and then he was taking some time away, and I still had to release some stuff, and so I went heavy into like the art direction of this record, and it changed a bunch of times. And I did like all the Shark Attack art and stuff,
Right.
where I made it look like the PS2 cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then I knew that I wanted to like make the MVP artwork and like whole vibe kind of go the direction of like old Apple, and I didn't
Yeah.
really know why.
Like the Y2K.
Yeah. And so like there's like a credits page that I've made that like is like the Mac desktop that has like all of the audio files on the desktop. And then the final artwork ended up being the view of clicking on a file, which I think I sent that to you. Maybe you haven't seen that.
The one I've seen is it just says MVP 2003 in the
Dude.
circle. Oh, that's not the cover.
I'll show it to you right now.
Oh,
in this
we'll get
room.
it. Get a
is
real
also
reaction.
crazy cool.
Dude.
Yeah, don't say anything.
What if I'm just like,
Dude, don't shoot
oh, that's
me.
it? That's
Dude, that's probably what you're gonna do because Hampton didn't realize that it was.
He's like, "Cool."
yeah, you got to let
I was
him know
trying to do
that
some
it's final.
cool ass shit. That is the album cover.
Oh, that. I'm just
You
kidding.
motherfucker.
Just what we talked about.
Dude,
I
no,
quit.
that's fucking sick. And you got your new car in there too.
Yeah,
Hell
the new
yeah,
car is
dude.
crazy.
You got this real, like, recently.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Carmen Smith took all the photos for the record.
Shout out
Shouts
Carmen.
Dude, this is
Carmen.
cool.
Previously
What the
me.
fuck you talking about?
I never said it wasn't cool.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. It is kind of Drake-ish, where it's just minimal.
Hell yeah, bro.
And it's gonna be just as popular as
First
any
name
of his
greatest.
albums.
Last
Hampton
name
zoomed
ever.
in and cropped it and said, "Wait, this isn't it."
Dude, literally.
He's like, why is it so small?
It broke my spirit. He sent back he goes, I sent it at like 1 a.m. I had finished this. I was like, finally, after 9 months of working on this art direction, whatever, I was like, I've cracked the case, and I'm so stoked about this. And I just sent it to them without saying anything. And then Hampton texts back.
First mistake.
Dude, next text. I love this. And I was like,
which is also a rare thing.
I was like, oh my God.
In that group chat.
I was like, hell yeah. I was like,
For
he gets it. And then 2 days later, he sends, is this the album art or is this the album? Like zoomed in. Yeah, he was like, is the file itself, like, did you take a screenshot of? And I was like, no, dude. And he goes, oh. And I was like,
yikes.
I was like, dude, I have lived.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Those 2 days were long enough for me to be like, fuck that. This is what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah. That was enough time in the sky, like high in the sky.
Yeah, dude.
And then you're like, I'm not letting him bring me down.
And I like it. It feels, everything about this record feels very true to what I want and what I am. Okay. And so I'm like,
hell yeah.
No,
like
that's what it's all about, man.
Honestly, man.
Hopefully it's a fitting cover for. Hopefully it's not a throwaway cover / or hopefully people don't like it. I like it, but I like it for one.
I think it's
thanks,
nice.
Tom.
You know, I give you more notes than anybody. I'm like, I can't read it, Zach.
Right.
Yeah, and Tom's a very readable guy. I'm very like, fuck the people.
Yeah. And then I like all day gentle hold.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
your album cover was
anyone
the one
that we
you can't
know,
read.
we're like, dude, quit being a jackass. But like, if someone that we don't know does something like that, we're like, dude, this is so sick.
That is so true. Yeah, there's got to be a word for that. I don't know.
Bad friend.
Bad friend. All right, guys. I think we got to wrap this up. We're at 1:45, an hour.
Dude,
actually, hour
Pilch.
46.
Give me Pilch.
Pilch.
Come on, Pilch. Let's get another beer.
We're coming for you, Pilch. If you've made it this far, I mean, God
go
bless
to bed,
you.
man.
God
go
bless.
to bed.
Get a job.
Oh no.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a minute. It's almost 11 p.m. We've been trucking.
But Bart gave me this shirt, and it is like
it's
1
so
bajillion hot degrees.
I told you did not have to wear that.
Well, I gotta wear it, dude. You gave it to me. And
I know,
also,
but
it's a crazy fit, so I don't know if I'll be able to get out of it.
You'll enjoy it a lot more come October.
Yeah, dude.
Or November.
I love it.
But
all right, here we are.
Let's wrap it up. I appreciate y'all coming on. It's been a blast. Everybody needs to go listen to MVP 2003 September 1st and come to the release show with Jackson Welch. It's going to be at Athens Historic Firehouse on Prince Avenue. Come hang. It's going to be awesome. Right next to the Captain D's. It's about as classy as it gets. We're stoked. Everybody, come on down. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
Zach,
you, Park.
Tommy, it's been a blast.
Yeah, baby.
See you on the other side.
Sometimes I wish it could be you.
Thank you again for tuning into the newest episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. Remember, not only can you listen to the episodes on Apple Podcast and Spotify, but you can also watch the episodes on my YouTube channel, which is linked in the description below. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time.
No, I can't stay with you, but you still